All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Denonu, and I'm here with my co-host.
Jolly Dangerous. What's up, y'all?
And with this video here, we're going to be watching the Black Adam teaser, trailer, um, info, fan-made Photoshop thing, or whatever they put out. So don't have high hopes because it's just something that's Photoshop. But let's go play it back and talk about it for a bit.
5,000 years ago, Kondak was a melting pot of cultures, wealth, power, and magic. Yet most of us had nothing, except for the chains around our necks. Kondak needed a hero. Instead, they got me. I did what needed to be done, and they imprisoned me for it. Now, 5,000 years later, I'm free. And I give you my word. No one will ever stop me again.
All right, so what you think?
I want to see that comic, the moving comic that I just saw. That is a really compelling story.
Yeah.
Um, I understand why they did it because they don't have anything to go off of. Um,
Mm.
so they made the moving comic, which is nice touch. I'm really digging it. Again, if this was like a moving comic, like you remember that Black Panther comic
Hmm.
came out years
Yeah,
ago.
Marvel had a few of them. It was that Iron Man and like
Yeah,
a couple of other ones.
go ahead and make this. I'll read it or watch it or whatever the fuck. Like I would enjoy that. The suit looks amazing. I don't know that much story about Black Adam. I know that he's a Shazam villain
Hmm.
and they fought a lot and they have pretty much the same powers.
Yeah,
And I've
he's
seen him take on Superman and whoop Superman's ass because Superman is allergic to magic. Stupid, but whatever.
he's allergic. He's a magic allergy.
Yeah,
Might as well
yeah,
be.
that's what it
That's
is.
how you can explain it. But yeah,
That's what it is. It's a fucking magic allergy. Like, oh, it can't just be kryptonite because kryptonite is running thin, and that's a
hmm
stupid plot. So now he's just allergic to magic too. And it's like, but in that sense, isn't everyone weak against magic
they should
because
be.
it's magic? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
eh. But yeah, I can see this. Honestly, I would love to see a crossover of Shazam in the Justice League and he beats everybody ass and then he
hmm
goes head to head with Superman, that would be dope. I know that they're gonna do a crossover with Shazam so that way Shazam could defeat
they
him.
have to. They have
Yeah.
to. Like Shazam, he's Shazam. Like without getting too much into his character, he's the first Shazam. The
Oh,
wizard
okay.
shows him, but he had ego problems and power went to his head and became a bad guy. So the wizard in the comic book sent him across the universe. So for 5,000, like what he said, 5,000 years later, that was him traveling back to Earth, and then he gets back and is pissed at the wizard for sending him away.
In
So
this movie, Shazam should not win.
that's the, I mean that's the whole thing. If the problem is they're making this Black Adam movie a separate movie when really his movie should be a prequel to what they showed in Shazam, not separate from it. Because if he's in this movie, you have to have Shazam in it because who's gonna beat him? The Wizard?
Yeah, who's gonna fight him? Is this this
That's
is his origin movie?
I don't know. It's separate from the Shazam movie, at least
Because
from when they first announced it.
that's a Earthling body
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm
he's
saying.
sitting in front of.
That's modern times. That's like in a military, modern military. So
Yeah,
yeah, he comes back in modern times and he fights Shazam, and Shazam beats him again. So it's like if you don't have what's his name that was in the Shazam movie and the kids, or the kid, like who's gonna beat Black Adam in this movie? Or are they
You know
making
what I
Black
mean?
Adam the anti-hero? Which
That's
I
what they're
guess,
gonna do.
if you want to call it that, but who's he gonna fight?
He's probably gonna fight somebody. He's gonna have some kind of weird change of heart at the end, and then he's gonna be like this anti-hero villain guy
It's
who
like,
doesn't really stand for any side until they actually need him later. Because Shazam, to me,
mhm.
is their Captain Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
depending on how strong they make him.
funny, funny you say that. Funny. Shazam back in the day. Shazam is Shazam's second name. His first name when he first came out was called Captain Marvel. That's the reason. Let me tell you the history behind that. See, Shazam back in the day was called Captain
I
Marvel.
remember
Yeah,
they
okay.
got sued for that. They got
Well,
sued for his name, then they had to change it.
what they didn't get sued was DC. Well, Captain Marvel back in the day was making more money than Superman.
Yeah.
DC sued them out of business. Old school shit.
Uh,
They got the character and everything and called him Captain Marvel. The problem is before they started remaking those comics and putting him into their ongoing stuff, they didn't use the name for like 5 or 6 years or something. So Marvel was like, hey, look, we got our character named Captain Marvel, which is the space guy. And they was like, okay, cool. You get the copyright to that name now. So now when DC tried to rebrand, Captain Marvel and was like, okay, we're making Captain Marvel comics again. They was like, you can't use the name because that's Marvel's guy now. Marvel has that name. So then
yeah.
that's when they named him and just called him Shazam, and he's been Shazam ever since.
So essentially, that's what I said, right? Because they was getting
Yeah.
sued over the name. Yeah.
Well, they didn't get sued over it, but they legally got the name took away from them.
Well, you know what
But
I mean. Like legality, you can't use that name
yeah,
because of Um, but that's what I mean. It's like depending on how strong they make him, because
yeah,
everyone knows that the movie versions of these characters are not the comic book versions.
hell
Essentially,
no.
he could be stronger than Superman, which he should be stronger than Superman if the
Mm-hmm.
comic books have anything to say, because Superman's allergic to magic.
Yeah.
He's already powerful. He has all Superman's abilities except for his laser vision.
Mm-hmm.
If he beats Superman, he could essentially be a
Higher
hero that they
tier hero that comes in and saves the day.
call upon to Captain
Yeah.
Marvel
It all
basically.
depends on how they decide to make his character. Because back in the day, Black Adam was, oh, I'm a bad guy that shows up, you beat me, I go home.
Yeah.
Or if I hope they take the modern interpretation of his character, and it seems like that's what they're doing, to where he's just like how he appears in this DC universe and everything else that he's been in recently, to where he doesn't care about the world, he cares about Kondak, his city. And there's been times when he's killed people on live television and the Justice League can't do shit. And he's like Batman when it comes to Gotham, stay out of my city. So I'm hoping they take that route with it, but you can do that and have him be a really cool, ruthless anti-hero character that kills people and all of that. That's fine. But how do you write a movie around that without having Shazam, Superman, or any other hero in it? So I would have to say Shazam has to be in it at least somewhere. But if you completely cut him out, who's he gonna fight? Military?
You make him. You have to make the audience care about him,
Yeah,
like they've done in all other movies before. Make it look like he was the victim. All he
yeah,
wanted to do was protect the city. He got put away for it, and now you root for him to beat
yeah,
anybody who stands in his way, including Captain Marvel. It's the
yeah.
same
Like
thing that they
like the
did
John
with
Wick.
the John Wick thing.
Yeah,
Make your character likable to where everyone gets their comeuppance but him.
yeah,
But also, if you think about it, they could go the Scorpion King route.
mm-hmm.
Scorpion King essentially was a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get the Scorpion King movie where he's a good guy.
Yeah,
And then he got
the route.
corrupted later. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
So
thinking they're probably gonna make him like the anti-hero that goes a little bit too far, and then he realizes it, and it's like, okay, well, I get your point. I'm still gonna do me, but I'm not gonna go as far with it. That's what I think they're gonna do. But
essentially he took out.
yeah, that's essentially exactly what it is. I'm gonna do whatever I can for my people, and if you don't like it, damn you, because I'm gonna go through you. That's the
Yep.
kind of personality he is. And I just don't know, because if this is a solo movie, like I said, they're gonna have to either make up a bad guy, or somebody's gonna have some kind of magic MacGuffin that can depower him, or make some magical creature that he has to fight or something, because you have to have a bad guy in there. And if he's, not the main bad guy, he has to be fighting a bigger bad than him to take the city back or something. So who are
Probably
you gonna have as that person?
one of the other Shazam members that's not like the main Shazam character.
Well, that's the problem. He's the only one. You have the wizard who made him, and him, and then Billy Batson.
Well, what about okay? Well, shit. One, he can fight the wizard again.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
He can also, or I mean, because he's gonna have to, because he got locked away by the wizard, he's gonna be looking for him. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing with that is, if you watch the Shazam movie, that's the reason why he had to make Shazam, was because the wizard was dying, losing all of his powers. So he made Billy Shazam because it was like, look, I gotta pick somebody.
Shazam
Otherwise,
makes he can share his powers with other people, meaning it splits.
yeah, movie wise, yeah. And and the main character Shazam can split his power up into however many times he wants, but that makes him weaker. So maybe I'm assuming he would fight the Shazam and the Shazam family from the Shazam movie. But if this is its own thing and not going to cross over with that until, let's say, like the sequel or something, who in the hell is he going to fight in this?
I do not know.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem.
This is essentially making a Joker. This is essentially like a Joker villain, where you don't really have a bad guy.
Yeah, you don't. And he is the bad guy. Shazam would be the person to be like, okay, let me fight this guy and beat him. But if I'm assuming that's where they were going, because he is Shazam's bad guy. But if this is its own solo movie and I haven't heard of anything about the guy being in Shazam being in this, then I guess he's going to be fighting the wizard or something. Yeah.
What do you like about the suit?
It was all right. I mean, it's serviceable. It's exactly what it should be. Whether you like the cape or not, I'm like, cape can stay or cape can go. He's always been depicted without a cape, but it is what it is.
I'm digging the cape.
Yeah. When they had the pose of him floating down, I was digging that too. So
yeah. I mean, I'm like, oh, look at this Black Superman.
If they can make the real outfit look like this, with the Rock in it, and have him look proportionally and everything, and have him look the part, I would have no problems with how he looks.
You see the texture in the suit too, like the texture in the spandex.
I like the whole semi-skin organic look that the black part has to it. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm digging the arm, like the right arm. It had those scales on it. Like I'm really digging that.
Yeah. Like Kondak definitely did have that Egypt, Middle Eastern appeal to it. That's why I said in the beginning, Kondak was a melting pot of cultures, because they ripped that shit right from Egypt and the Middle East and all that.
Enjoy how the thing isn't just symmetrical.
Yeah,
like parts of it are symmetrical, like the belt, things like that, but like there's texture here and there, and it's not even. And his right arm has scales, and his left arm has like another type of gauntlet that's not on his right. It's like, I enjoy that.
Yeah, that's an artist visually changing things up. It's not just like, oh, let's put him in a rubber suit or a skin tight outfit, spandex or whatever. That's them actually playing with it. Now, if you can get that to translate to what a movie camera would see and what they do for the costume for that, that's going to be that's going to make or break the look for me, because it's going to be like, well, okay, well, it may look good if they do it right, but it may not look good because it's real life. So it all depends on what they do.
Final thoughts?
I think it's going to be good. I mean, I love Black Adam as a character. I like The Rock and a lot of his stuff. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a decent movie for what it is. I mean, I'm not expecting it to change the world. I just want to see him fight Shazam at some point, because it's like, if you don't fight them or the Justice League or somebody, it's like that's a huge opportunity that they're just pissing away. And it makes no sense if you have all of your characters. It's not like Marvel, where Marvel didn't have the X-Men, didn't have Fantastic Four, didn't have Spider-Man. So you have to make do with what you have. DC has all of their characters and all of their properties that they can hot swap between different movies and cameos and fights and all that kind of stuff. And you don't have to explain shit. You could have him take over Kondak and have Superman show up and be like, oh, I heard you were taking over this city. Let me try to stop you. And have Superman get that ass handed to him and be like, you didn't know it was somebody else as strong as you in the world, did you? You know, you can do that and then have Superman, let's say, go away and then bring in Shazam to beat him at the end or something. However you want to make your movie, you know. But I just have a feeling this is going to be like a movie from the hit, like as if he was telling his own story. Like, oh, I was beat down. I deserve this power. I did this. I think it's going to be heavily egotistical. And then at the end, they have to show him rolling back from that and then be like, okay, well, I'm just still going to do me. I'm going to be better. You know, they're going to make him into an anti-hero. And I think he's more of like an anti-villain. He's still a bad guy, but not a hero. But I guess in his own mind, he is, you know?
If they do that, I wouldn't like the story.
Yeah.
Keep him as villainous as he was when he first showed up. Just make me like him more. Make me feel connected with this character, like Negan. You know, like to me, Negan was the same way in The Walking Dead. Have you seen The Walking Dead?
I've read I read a lot of the comic books, and I never made it past the prison in the TV show. But I know who you're talking about when you say Negan.
Prison? You mean where he was in prison? Oh, in the TV show. Okay, cool.
When they first got to the prison and was staying there before they got to the governor and everything.
Damn. Okay. So you didn't even get to the Negan part then.
No, but I know who Negan is. I know what he does with the baseball bat and all that, and what he was trying to do.
Okay. So the reason why I like Negan so much is that you don't understand where he's coming from until the writer shows you where he's coming from. You just think he's just this evil, vile creature, asshole of a man who says witty remarks from time to time and is very like cunning in that kind of way. But when you see where he comes from and how he got there, then you're like, oh shit, he has a point. You know what I mean?
It makes
like
sense.
he was killing people because, like, even the members of his own group was because when he first got out there, he was like everybody else. He was a strong guy, but everybody who he joined up with always died, and he was the last member of the group every single time. And this happened for like seasons. Well, you know, I say seasons, not like years, but like actual seasons, because he was constantly meeting people, but they were constantly dying because they were too nice.
They weren't strong enough.
They weren't strong enough.
Emotionally or mentally strong enough to do what had to be done. I get you.
Exactly. So what he was doing is that he started noticing these things, and he just started getting frustrated because people were weak. And what he started doing was every time they had a group thing going on, he would take control of that group. When they would fight over dumb shit, he would take it for himself, because now you can't hate nobody but him, and you're not going to challenge him. Like, oh, you're going to fight over that blanket? It's Negan's blanket now. And that's like, you always hear that. Like, it's Negan's. This belongs to Negan. Negan. So he'll take shit that causes strife. Like, nope, this is Negan's blanket. This is Negan's jacket. This is Negan's bat. Do something. You know what I'm saying? And then when they're like, well, what about me? You're Negan too. Take what's yours. You know, that kind of thing. So he started killing people if they would fall out of line, because it would put the whole group in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And when you watch his backstory, it's like, damn, I completely understand where he's coming from, because look at all these people that died over dumb shit when they needed one person to lead them, and they needed to be strong enough to be afraid of him to listen. I want this character to be just like that. Like, I want this character to like, he like super bad dude. Like I can see why they put him away, but I can also see why he's angry.
Why?
Because maybe because the leaders here were like, oh, everything happens for a reason, and there has to be order, or that's not our place. Like the Jedi used to piss me off.
Same difference,
like, like Star Wars, I fucking hated that shit. Like, I was always a Sith person. Like, I wanted to be Jedi, but I always agreed with what the Sith said. It's like, Jedi are like, no, we don't go save people. Why? Because that's not in our plan. So your plan is to be sitting in your ivory tower, reading all these books, getting all this knowledge, but you're not going out to help people. You're not going out to save lives. You're not going out to, like, spread your knowledge. Nope, because not everybody deserves it. What? So you got slaves here
You're
but
selfish.
you're not going to help free them. No, because it's not our place. Okay, well, I'm going to go do something because I can help them.
Mm-hmm.
No, you have that power for this reason, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I want to see that with this character. Like, nope, I'm here because I stand up for the little people that you don't stand up for. And I'd rather everybody be free than your idea of what free is. And then that would make me rethink what Shazam is. Because
Yeah,
if Shazam has those same ideals, fuck him too. You know what I mean?
exactly. That's what I'm hoping they do. Like it kind of reminds me of how Magneto is, the same difference. Where it's like you know where he's, you know, his backstory, like kind of what they did in First Class with him. Show him being a Jewish slave in Auschwitz and all that. Show him at his lowest, then he gets the powers. Then when he grows up, you want him to go off and kill the Nazis. With this, I'm hoping that they probably do the same thing too. Maybe they show him being a slave and showing the people in power oppressing him and his people, and he gets the power he needs to rise up and kill them. And maybe that's the crux of it. Maybe the guy's like, oh, you shouldn't kill him, but he's like, no, fuck that, and he does it anyway. And then that's when he goes too far. And then he's like, okay, I have to exert my power over my people to have them fear me to keep everybody in line and become necessary. So that's how he is in the comics. So,
I like that. I like
but
that
it's
idea.
like he loves his people, like kind of how Black Panther loves his people. You know, it's like that same kind of vein. And I'm just hoping that that's the same character we get with The Rock on screen.
I like that idea. It's a T'Challa meets Magneto. I like
Yeah.
that idea.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So it's like, yeah, he may do all these horrible things, but at the same time, that's the end goal is for his people, you know, most of the time. But any last thoughts?
nope. I'm kind of looking forward to it now. Even though like I've never read a lot of the comics and kept up with the
Mm,
story, I'm still looking forward to what they do with this character.
yeah. Whenever it comes out, maybe like in another 10 years or something. Because this was announced, I want to say, before they did Justice League, before they did all of that stuff. Like it was like, you
It
know, The Rock's
was
been saying for a
rumored.
while, for a minute.
It was
Well,
rumored, and The Rock actually said that he didn't bring any of that stuff up. It was it was fans who created fan art saying, "Hey, look at The Rock as Black
yeah,
Adam."
yeah. Who else you gonna get?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that you can get other people to look like that, but
Mm.
it's that one person that was like they just put The Rock in the outfit, and I think he commented on it at one point, but it was never him that said it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
He
okay.
never got into suits or anything like that. He never announced it. It was something that the fans always wanted, and when they saw Shazam, they pushed it even harder. And then it's
Oh,
like,
okay.
yep, The Rock is going to be the Atom.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, YouTube, let us end the video here. And if you guys want to hear us talk about anything different or any other comic book related topics or otherwise, let us know down in the comments below. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.